Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by dusty roads and mango trees, two boys were born on the same day. Their names were Daniel and Samuel. They grew up on the same street. They went to the same school. They even shared the same dreams. But many years later, something strange happened. One of them became incredibly wealthy. The other remained trapped in poverty. The villagers whispered about it. How can two people from the same place end up living completely different lives? Was it luck? Was it destiny? Or was it something much smaller? Something invisible. Something they did every single day. Their habits. And this is the story of how tiny daily habits slowly built two completely different lives. Every morning in the village began the same way. The sun slowly rose above the hills. But inside two small houses, two very different mornings were happening. Daniel would wake up early, not because he was forced to, but because he was curious about the day. He would sit outside with a small notebook, thinking about what he wanted to do. What can I learn today? He often asked himself. Meanwhile, in another house down the road, Samuel was still asleep. When he finally woke up, he rushed through the morning, already tired, already frustrated. Life is hard, he would complain. To the villagers, it looked like nothing important. Just two boys starting their mornings differently. But habits are quiet. They don't shout. They slowly build the future. As the years passed, Daniel developed a strange habit. Whenever he had free time, he looked for something to learn. Sometimes he would sit with the old carpenter in the village. Other days, he would help the shop owner count money and watch how the business worked. People laughed at him. "Why are you always asking questions?" they said. But Daniel smiled, because every question was opening a door in his mind. Meanwhile, Samuel had his own habit. Whenever he had free time, he searched for comfort. He spent hours gossiping with friends, complaining about the government, complaining about money, complaining about how unfair life was. And slowly, without noticing, their minds were being trained. Daniel trained his mind to grow. Samuel trained his mind to escape. One day, both boys started working. Their first job paid the same amount. For the first time, money entered their lives. And this is where the real difference began. Daniel looked at the money and asked himself, how can this money work for me? So he saved a small part of it. Then he invested in small things. Books, skills, tools, things that could grow. Samuel looked at the money differently. How can this money make me happy right now? So he spent it quickly. New clothes, parties, small pleasures that disappeared as fast as they came. At the end of the month, both boys had the same income, but one was slowly building a future. The other was slowly building temporary comfort. Years passed. Life, as always, brought challenges. One day Daniel tried to start a small business. It failed. He lost almost everything he saved. The villagers watched him carefully. Now he will give up, they said. But Daniel did something unexpected. He sat down. He studied what went wrong. Then he tried again. Because to him, failure was not the end. It was a lesson. Meanwhile, Samuel also faced failure. He lost a job after arguing with his boss. But his reaction was different. This world is unfair, he said angrily. And instead of learning, he became more bitter. One habit turned pain into wisdom. The other turned pain into blame. 10 years later, the village looked very different. New shops had opened. New houses were built. And among them stood a beautiful building. It was Daniel's company. The same boy who once asked endless questions had built a successful business. People came from nearby towns to work there. Meanwhile, Samuel was still struggling, jumping from job to job, still blaming the world, still waiting for luck to save him. The villagers were confused. How did this happen? But the truth was simple. Daniel didn't become rich in one big moment. He became rich through thousands of small habits. Waking early, learning daily, saving money, learning from failure, tiny decisions, repeated every day. One evening, an old wise man in the village gathered the young people and said something powerful. Rich people and poor people do not live different lives because of luck. They live different lives because of daily habits. The rich plant seeds every day. The poor wait for miracles. And slowly the young people began to understand something important. Your future is not built in one day. It is built in small, invisible choices. What you read, how you spend time, how you think, how you react to failure. Those tiny habits quietly shape your destiny. So the real question is not, why are some people rich and others poor? The real question is, what habits are you practicing today? Because the life you will live tomorrow is being built by the habits you repeat today. Just like Daniel, just like Samuel. Two boys, same village, same start, but completely different endings. All because of habits. And if this story opened your eyes even a little, then subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't just tell stories. We reveal the hidden truths about life, money, and the human mind. And the next story you hear here might change the way you see your own future.